is a blessing and bears testimony to your very well-known Pan-African credentials. I extend our cordial welcome to the Honorable Chief Justices, the heads of delegations, and esteemed participants from the Southern and Eastern African judiciaries for coming to Uganda for this conference. The Uganda judiciary has, over time, put in place both physical and functional access to justice for justice seekers. In this regard, we have significantly expanded courthouse coverage throughout the country. We have correspondingly enhanced the numbers of judicial officers and support staff. We are also vigorously embracing the use of modern technological tools of work at the courts. To complete the circuit, we are confronting the structural impediments that negate our pursuit of access to justice, to the court services. I have always said, Your Excellency, that what we are now being told as alternative dispute resolution is actually, for us, the original dispute resolution mechanism of Africa. A study that was carried out in Uganda and similar for many African countries, many African jurisdictions. A few years ago, only 5% of the discernible disputes found their ways to court of law. And then it is broken down, a tiny percentage is resolved. Yet another tiny percentage is resolved satisfactorily. Now it has climbed, as of this year, it has climbed to 10% of disputes in this country finding their ways to court of law. The question then, what happens to the 90 or the 95% of all disputes which are discernible? There could be more. There is no mayhem, there's no bloodletting, people are not pulling out machetes to cut one another. How come this is so? The answer is hidden in plain sight. That our people, our justice seekers, 95% or 90% of our justice seekers are using dispute resolution which is not adversarial. We carried out the ADR way. In this test case, if I may be allowed to use that term, which was magical, in 1 week, the judiciary of Uganda resolved a total of 237 civil cases, out of which, and this is a rare thing, 37 cases was resolved by the Court of Appeal by mediation. Matter has been resolved at the trial court. It goes to the Court of Appeal. The parties are afforded the opportunity to speak to one another under the guidance of a mediator, and 37 cases were resolved. These cases could have been in the courts for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, or even 10 years, but these were resolved. So, Your Excellency, as I conclude, I thank you once again for joining us at this auspicious conference. For me, who have followed your views on the justice system, the pursuit of ADR resonates with your thinking, with the view you've held for a long time. I think you took the lead on this, and hopefully will benefit from your views on this today. I pay special tribute to the local and overseas organizing committees for the work well done. I appreciate and recognize the excellent work done by Justice Mike Chibita, Justice of the Supreme Court, as chair of the organizing committee for this conference.
As a forum, we believe in the doctrine of separation of powers between the executive, the legislature, as well as the judiciary. We further recognize the principle of the independence of the judiciary, which is enshrined in the national constitutions of the member countries of the Forum. However, we take full cognizance of the reality that many judges continue to be persecuted in many parts of the African continent for executing their mandate as required by the national constitutions, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as well as the Charter of the United Nations. The Forum is a voluntary association of Chief Justices from countries in Southern and Eastern Africa, and it was established in 2003 in recognition of the important role that judiciaries play in the administration of justice. The main objectives of the Forum are as follows: to promote, protect, and defend the independence of judiciaries in Southern and Eastern Africa, to promote the rule of law, human rights, and access to justice for all, to develop guidelines on the protection of the independence of the judiciary, including the fair and transparent judicial appointment processes. When the natural resources of the African continent continue to be plundered and looted by foreign interest, and this has caused untold economic hardship and suffering to the people of Africa, with high levels of poverty and unemployment, notwithstanding that the continent is endowed with many natural resources. Many of the African people are dying in the Mediterranean Sea, trying to secure a better life abroad. It remains a historical tragedy that while the African continent is so rich in natural resources, but it remains the most poverty-stricken continent in the world. The time has come for the African people to unite together and begin to utilize their natural resources for their own benefit and trade amongst themselves in finished products instead of exporting raw material at a price determined by foreign interest. We note with concern the ongoing war in many parts of the world, particularly in Africa, the Middle East, and Europe, and the huge loss of innocent lives, coupled with the failure of the United Nations to intervene and stop the human suffering. There is an urgent need for the reform of the United Nations Security Council, not only to allow the African continent to have its representation, but to remove the veto power of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council, which is the cause of the carnage and human suffering worldwide. Your Excellency, as I conclude my remarks, I wish to personally thank you in my capacity as a chairman of the Forum, Ahmad Vaist, for taking a keen interest in the improvement of the terms and conditions of the judges of Uganda, including their salaries and post-retirement packages.
I want to welcome their lordships for your meeting here in Uganda. You have done us an honor by coming here to have your meeting here. Thank you so much. Now, I think their lordships, the Chief Justice of Uganda and the Chief Justice of Eswatini, have spied on my remarks because they captured some of the things I wanted to say. But I will find another way of saying them. In one of the local languages, they say, Enkubito ergumu ibega, which means somebody to give you a strong blow. The strength of the blow depends on the muscles of the puncher. Therefore, right from our student days in our movement, we always advised the African intelligentsia, the academicians, the technocrats, the judiciary, the lawyers, to always have an organic way of looking at issues. And in our view, and as the Chief Justice of Eswatini said, he actually made the same points. In our view, it is easier for justice to prevail when there are a few conditions in the society. It is easier. Number one, growth and prosperity. If the economy of the country is growing and creating prosperity, it is easier to work on the issues of justice. Yes, you can work on the issues of justice even in poverty. You can do it, but it is easier. It makes work much easier. And that's what the Chief Justice of Eswatini was saying. If you have growth in prosperity of the homes, of the families, of the individuals, then the state has financial resources. Because if the economy is growing, then the state also has got financial resources to support the judiciary. Now, prosperity will generate incomes for the families and companies and corporations. Secondly, it will improve livelihoods of people. And by livelihoods, I'm talking about better housing. If you see the housing in some of the places, it is not good at all. Better health, better nutrition, security. There's a lot of insecurity in some of the African countries now. Actually, there's like a collapse in quite a number of countries. And you can definitely trace that lack of security to some factors, politics and so on, but also to lack of prosperity in the economy, which enables the government to have enough resources to support the army, because the army needs resources to be supported, needs money. Because some of the tensions in the societies are caused by lack of knowledge, superstition, belief in witchcraft. Why? Because the people don't have enough knowledge about science. Somebody is sick, then they think he has been bewitched. Yet it is malaria. Malaria since many years ago now, you can discover which enemies cause malaria and you deal with it. So enlightenment also helps. Education brings enlightenment. That's why here in Uganda we have been pushing for the case of universal education. Everybody must go to school and stay there for at least 14 years so that he knows more about his body, because that education educates you more about your own body. How is your body made up? Your biology. People, uneducated people don't know the biology of their bodies. The environment around you and what is happening in the world. I am very grateful to His Lordship, the Chief Justice, and the judges of Uganda, who have now joined us in the effort of synthesis to synthesize what is good in the middle class, European middle class legal system, and what is good in our own systems. In conclusion, I would just like to emphasize 3 points. Link justice with prosperity. Like the CJ of Eswatini was saying, this export of raw materials is really, it was a historical crime by our leaders to allow this to go on for so long. Here, I have banned the export of minerals which are not processed. I banned them. Link justice with enlightenment. Because the middle class values like respect for women and gender equality and so on are better addressed in an educated society where people, so that's why universal education becomes very important, which all of us should support. And then finally, the need for synthesis between the bourgeois concepts of justice borrowed from Europe and the positive concepts of our traditional justice system. With these few words, it is my pleasure to do what? To open the conference. I open the conference.
Second was for top management. That was the second picture for top management.
They don't want to move. Zay is going away already.
Thanks for.
Thank you.
Lay the program in your hand. We pray for fruitful deliberations, and that at the end of it all of Uganda, as our chief guest, we also pray that you continue to watch over him and guide him as he leads this country.
Welcome to this our venue at Speak Resort Munonyo for the conference. Your Excellency the President of the Republic of the Principal Judge of Uganda, my lords, the justices and judges, the ambassadors and heads of missions, the honorable members of Parliament present, the chairperson and members of the Southern and Eastern Africa Judicial Administrators Association. Both excellent ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome to the 8th conference of the Southern and Eastern good people where you will enjoy the best hospitality in the globe. I believe you have already enjoyed part of Uganda. Langasiu, I'm the Chief Registrar and I'm the Director of this program. Your Excellency, we have a short program this morning that is close to the Honorable the Chief Justice of Uganda. We will then hear the remarks of the Honorable the Chief Justice, the Chairperson of the forum. We have before you, Your Excellency, about 14 Chief Justices, 3 heads of delegation and a judge president. That is the Honorable Chief Justice of the Kingdom of Eswatini, the Honorable Justice of the Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Botswana, the Honorable Chief Justice Terence Ramawane. You're most welcome, my Lord. We have the Chief Justice of Lesotho, the Honorable Chief Justice Sakoame. You're welcome, my Lord. Justice of the Republic of Namibia, the Honorable Justice Peter S. Sibute. You're most welcome, my Lord. Of South Sudan, Your Excellency, we have the Honorable Chief Justice Tanrek Madut. You're most welcome, my Lord. From the United, we also have, and who has just arrived and will be making her way here, the Chief Justice of Kenya, the Honorable Justice Martha Koome, the Judge President of the East African Court of Justice, the Honorable Justice Nesta Kayobera. Your Excellency, those are the Chief Justices that we have, and next to him is the Principal Judge, the Honorable Justice Dr. Sega Flavian. Your Excellency, together with the members, is Dr. Pius Bilimana, who is now the chair, and all the members.
The international friends, the academia, and the media fraternity who have joined us today. The experience of our distinguished participants can be harnessed. We therefore appreciate and the exchange of information and ideas on matters of the shared mission of transforming our judiciary. The pursuit of justice is a shared responsibility, one that requires enduring dialogue, mutual respect, our mindsets. The theme of this conference, enhanced access and underscores and collaborative solutions. The impediments to meaningful access to justice, the challenges ushered in by technology.
I look forward to their joining this great forum as full members so that in concert we can seek answers to the justice needs in our respective jurisdictions and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. The Secretary to the Judiciary and the Chief Registrar for providing the requisite leadership for the success of this conference. Registrar, please find time to know Uganda a little bit more. We'll be very happy to know that you've not cocooned yourself to this area, but Sir Winston Churchill. I thank you all for listening to me. God bless. I now take the honor, Your Excellency, to
Towers, which houses the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court of the Republic of Uganda. The Twin Towers is a marvel. Judiciaries, forming part of the forum, the conditions of employment for judges and other judicial officials,